Actually, the project itself is called the Climate Smart Agriculture Young Farmer Club Entrepreneurship Young Farmer Club project. So it's a project that aims to support youths to become more entrepreneurial in the agricultural field, and facilitate as well their access to capital and to markets, because this, when providing them capacity building support is one thing. Now facilitating their access to all these other transversal elements is also very important, to really make sure that they are really evolving from their daily practices to something more entrepreneurial, so that they may be able to generate or to develop interesting agribusinesses. So the project itself was focusing on a maximum of 300 young farmers who were more or less averagely schooled. They didn't go to most didn't go to universities or stopped at a certain level in secondary school. So they didn't have, for instance, the fundings necessary to go into higher institutions. So that was more or less the backbone of the project. And during this process, we wanted them to grow their skills on specific agricultural commodities, that is soya beans, moringa, and peanuts. And the idea behind it was that, okay, they will learn how to manufacture or to produce the raw material, the primary produces, and with further support they will learn how to transform, to give more added value to these primary produces and produce something more locally produced or agri-processed, like moringa paste, like moringa tea, like groundnut paste, and all these transversal byproducts that can be generated from these raw materials. So at some point in time, we were noticing that the project was really growing very well, because they were offered some tablets, iPad tablets, and clustered in groups of 30. They had to learn, first of all, from this tablet, which was bearing some agricultural curriculums, and not just agricultural curriculums, but other curriculums maybe focused on health, on hygiene, on sanitation. And working together as a team gave them the possibility to, first of all, capture the knowledge that was infused in the device that they were given, and discussing and interacting among themselves, depending on their various backgrounds, on where their environmental conditions, they were able, with this knowledge, to mutually exchange among themselves, try to see which practices is best applicable in all their very different environments, which we could consider as like an inclusive knowledge sharing approach, because discussing together, interacting together, following the development of each of them clustered in one group could ensure a real mutual inclusive knowledge sharing process. And at the end of the day, we are happy of the outcome of the project, because the idea as well was that being more entrepreneurial will give them the possibility to start looking out of the box of the project and see whether they can venture in new agribusinesses, which at some point in time was the case, because initially they were focusing on 3 agricultural commodities, but at some point in time they noticed that the chili value chain as well is very profitable in their district or in their environment. So they started venturing as well in the chili production and the chili transformation processes. And from one group which started venturing into that agribusinesses, 3 or 4 or 5 other groups also followed the process, and it is still evolving and we are hoping that by the end of the project, all the 10 groups as well will be able to venture in these new agribusinesses.